Welcome, everyone, to BCANCC Decompress, presented by Black Canadian content creators and produced by the Chonilla Network. I'm excited. It's the end of the month. So decompress and come on. I'm super excited to have, she's back, LaMoi. I'm not sure if you caught the first episode, LaMoi. We had an amazing conversation. We're about to have another one today.
Yes.
Where we'll be talking. I'm always inspired by LaMoi posts something on Facebook, and I'm like, we need to talk about that. If you don't know who LaMoi is, she is the founder, creative director of Reckless Arts Collective. It's an organization that produces artistic events and workshops in the GTA, cultivating a space for artists to create and perform. Reckless Arts Collective continues to allow emerging artists to grow in a artistic excellence. And if you want to learn more, you can connect with LaMoi by visiting her website, which is LaMoiSimmonds.com. LaMoi, welcome back, girl.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited about today's conversation.
Me too, because it's all about manifestation. Some people call it law of attraction, but I saw your post. You said we set our manifestation intentions and got our spirits up with good music to stimulate the work. And I think at the time that was around of the verses, right? Verses with Miss Patti LaBelle and Gladys Knight. And then you asked the question, what are 3 tangible things you can actively do this week towards your manifestation? And I thought, oh, this is a great conversation to have. What inspired you to obviously it was the music. What was it about these 2 ladies, the whole verses, that brought on this post?
Well, me personally, I've been focusing on manifesting for a long time. It's something that I think about, I ponder, I meditate on, I read about. But it's so beautiful seeing 2 women become what they've always wanted.
Yeah.
Right? And it's so encouraging and so uplifting to see, to then learn and know how to do that for yourself. We're often told, we're given 2 messages. We're told that we can do anything we want to, and we're also told, but not that, right? You can do whatever you want to, but not that,
right.
That. And oftentimes our freedom and our liberation is wrapped up in the, but not that.
Yeah.
So how do we imagine the, but not that? How do we visualize the, but not that? How do we put what's in here out here and become what we've always wanted to be? So they inspired me to, pose that question to my followers and my friends and people on Facebook. Like, what are we doing to become who we want to be?
Yeah. And it's true. I mean, I didn't catch it live. I caught after. And it's amazing to see these women kind of just be in a space of have fully embraced giving themselves permission in their greatness,
right.
and celebrating that with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And to see, and not only that, but the sense of great support. Like I saw an interview just before, the verses where they did these clips, and Gladys was saying oh, we've been supporting each other and manifesting while we're supporting each other. You know what I mean? I would hold her baby, she would hold my baby before getting on stage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was great to see that. And when you post that question out there, what are some of the feedback? What are some of the questions that came up or that inspired people with what you posted?
It's interesting to see where people's focus and their priorities are. And sometimes I have to ask myself, why are we're not specific enough? Our dreams and our visions are so general and are so widespread. And I think a part of that is because we're afraid to actually imagine ourselves at our highest. We're afraid to actually visualize ourselves when we get what we want. And so we do why things like, well, I want to feel better about myself, or I want to be healthy. Okay, but what though? Like, tell me exactly what do you want? And on top of that, tell me exactly what you're going to do to get it. If our dreams remain so broad, we don't have to put a lot of work into figuring out how to achieve it, right? So there's a lot of like fear, a lot of insecurity, and also a lot of unsurety. Is that a word? If it's not, it is now. A lot of unsurety.
Hey, put that on the t-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unsurety.
Surety.
You know, because we haven't grasped, as you use the word, we haven't grasped the greatness of ourselves yet. We don't know what we look like great. So how can we possibly imagine the specificity? Specificity?
Yeah.
That word. You know what I'm talking about. How can we possibly imagine the nitty-gritty if we can't even see the whole plate? How can we possibly imagine the ingredients to go into the pot of greatness if we don't even know what we're cooking in the first place?
And
so
where do you think that stems from for most people?
I think it's fear. I think it's fear. I think it's insecurity. And I think it's a lack of imagination. Our culture and our society, I should say, doesn't really make room for self-imagination.
Yeah.
You know, we're told in very clear terms, you're born, you go to school, you get a job that you hate, and then you die. You know, and if you're lucky enough to find someone who loves you, and if you're lucky enough to procreate, I mean, that's a blessing, good for you, but your job is you're born, you go to school, you get a job, and you die. And so that message is played over and over and over for us in so many different ways, using so many different languages, but it's something that sticks in here, you know, and even if it moves around and we try and play around with it, it's still very prevalent. So to now imagine yourself at your highest, sometimes it's outside of those systems.
Yeah.
But if the system is all that you know, how do you possibly imagine what you look like without those systems in place?
Yeah.
Right? I think a lot of us are scared. Sometimes I'm scared. I'm scared of my own greatness sometimes, right? So
girl,
I'm terrified to imagine myself wrapped up in my greatness. Because how? You know,
I'm so glad you said that, because it's like, you know, I'm shifting my business and adding an additional thing to my business, and I put it out there. It's something I've put it out for so long, and now you have it. Now that it happened, you're like, oh
yeah, right. What do I do now?
Exactly. And I remember the other day, and I was like, girl, that's your fear speaking, because my fear started kicking in, and it started saying like, see, you better be careful what you wish for. And I'm like, no, fear, we're not doing that. Okay, LaQuisha, we're not, I'm not riding that train with you. My imposter syndrome, fear, and you know, I call her LaQuisha because she's not.
She sounds very feisty. She sounds very feisty.
Yeah, she's very mean, and she's very like, LaQuisha Downer. That's her last name.
Her last name, sis? You get her last name? Wow.
Yeah, she even has a last name. So how do we get out of that? How do we embrace our greatness? What are some those, you know, I like the question that you asked, what are those 3 tangible things that you can actively do towards your manifestation that can lead to your greatness?
Yeah, it's so great that you brought up fear, because I actually believe that fear is one of our greatest allies if we allow it to. I think that we should listen to our fear. We should have a conversation with our fear and find out, why are you here? Right? Because if you listen to your fear, it will tell you what you need to know. It will tell you what you need to do, and it will tell you what you need to let go of. But we are so caught up in these bad emotions that the minute fear comes in, we, get the prayer oil and we start to, do all those things. No, listen to your fear and it will tell you what is the underlying issue that you need to address.
Yeah.
So for me, manifesting three things that I like to do. Number one, listen to my fear. Number two, I make sure that I'm in alignment. I make sure I'm in alignment. I make sure that I am walking and existing in my purpose. And number three, I begin to shift my language to make room for my manifesting. My manifesting. Yeah, because language, we say it sometimes. Words are spells.
Yeah.
I teach my daughter, your words are powerful.
Very.
I was thinking about earlier today, my basis, I was born into a Christian household, and we're taught that, God, at the beginning, God spoke, let there be light. And light was like, hey,
What's
I'm
that?
here. What do you need? Right? So if we take that and just how powerful our very words are, if you want to manifest, I want to manifest that by the time I'm 40, I'm going to have $1 million. That's my focus. But every day I'm so broke. I'm
That
so
doesn't help.
poor.
Right.
I got no money. I can't afford this. My $1 million is looking at me being like, are you okay?
This is not helpful right now. Yeah.
Are you good, sis? Are you good? Are you good? If I say that I want to manifest physical wellness, I want to manifest I want to be in my tip-top shape. And every day I wake up, I don't feel good. I don't feel well. My body's gonna be like, are you okay?
Yeah. Or I'm glad you brought that example. I'm a voluptuous lady, and one of the fears is that the fear of safety that I realized the other day. Like, no, because of what I went through in my life, in my childhood, my weight is like, it's like why am I like so lazy about like this whole losing weight and stuff like that? And I really had to internalize it. Like, I just have to let go of this fear of safety because I feel like my weight is my safety. It keeps I'm gonna be real, it kept men at bay for me, and I purposely put out that energy like that based on what happened to me. You know what I mean? So it's like being honest with those fears, right? With you know what I mean?
100%. And so along with that, I'm going to add a fourth component of I can't talk today. Why? I'm going to add a fourth component of manifesting, which is to release.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because you're calling all of these things to you, and if you're aligned and if you're in purpose, you're calling all of these good, beautiful things into your life, but you have to also release what is holding you back from that. So it's once again, it's listening to your fear. Why are you're afraid of the safety? Okay, why? And start to unpack that box. I said it before in a video that I did. We have all of these, we have cluttering our minds, cluttering our spirit, cluttering our emotions. We have boxes of stuff.
Yeah.
And so, abundance is trying to find us, but it can't. Our vision is trying to find us, but it can't.
Yeah,
because
like I'm trying to get to you, but all this is in the way. Yeah.
All this clutter. So once your fear starts to creep in and be like, trying to question you and make you afraid, go find that fear box. Find that fear box, open the box, and just start taking out stuff. Look through the old fear albums, fear photo albums, read the old fear journals, and figure out what is your fear trying to tell you and address that. And once you release it to make room for the manifestation.
Yeah, like what you said, I was reading an article, and you're hitting it spot on. Like step one, choose what you want to manifest, but
Mm.
you can't do that until you do step two, which is get rid of the things that stand
Yeah,
in your way.
you got to release it. You have to release it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to release it because I find, sometimes we talk about how tired we are, how physically tired we are, and I've begun to recognize sometimes it's not even a physical tiredness; is your soul is tired. Your
Yeah,
soul is tired because it's trying to do all of this work to keep up. Because not only are you manifesting new things, you're doing everything you can to hold on to the old things,
yeah,
right? So your spirit is literally going back and forth, being like, what do you want? Do you want the new stuff? Do you want to keep the old stuff? You're running me ragged,
yeah,
right?
yep,
So it's a soul exhaustion. Our soul is tired. And when
yeah,
your soul is tired, that will manifest physically. You can't sleep. You have no appetite. You're cranky. You
yeah.
can't meditate. You can't pray. You're not hydrated. All of these things because your soul is tired.
And
You
it
make
creates,
bad decisions. You know what I
yeah,
mean? All these things.
it creates manifestation blocks, basically, what you're saying, right? Those negative beliefs and mindset just creates a wall that makes it very hard for anything you're manifesting to penetrate.
Exactly. And the truth is also, as much as you can manifest good, beautiful things, you can also manifest negative things,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because if you keep putting things out there, if you keep saying things, if you keep acting on things, if you keep behaving in ways that will cause you to attract things that you don't really want, right? But because your soul is out of alignment, out of center, you're making bad decisions all over the place.
Yeah,
You're calling all these bad things all over the place because you're like this. You're
not
not like
aligning.
this.
Yeah, yeah,
So as much as we, try and think that manifestation is this beautiful, positive experience, there is a shadow side to that. If you're not careful, your language will call things into your life that you don't really want.
mm-hmm.
You don't really want that friend. You don't really want that lover. You don't really want, to be eating that. You don't really want that.
Mm-hmm. That's real. Dawn says, can totally relate. Nadia
Right?
said, it's so important to stop saying I can't or I will never have. It's a hard habit to
Hmm.
break, and one that I'm successfully working on. It's been a years long process. It sure is.
Yes, yeah, our language is so important. I encourage people to just shift minor things from saying I'm trying to I'm doing. From saying, I can't to I can't, just minor
Yeah.
shifts
Instead of I
have a
can't, how
huge
can I?
impact.
Yeah. Yeah. Simple things
Yes,
like you said, I can't shift it to how can I get to, or
exactly.
how can I move forward? How can I manifest? You know what I mean? And
Exactly.
and it could be for both, right? It could be for the negative and or negative or positive. Like how can I get
Mhm.
rid of this broadcast?
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Exactly. I tweeted something this morning and it was saying there is always another way. You always have more than one choice and you have to own your decisions and own your choices. And we love to say, I had no other choice. I doesn't, you know what I mean? I had no other choice. It's the only thing I can do. No,
Mm-hmm.
no, you had another choice. It's okay to make the choice that you did, but you had another choice. Fix your language.
Yeah. Yeah. The
Don't
mind
give
is
your
the
power away so easily.
And you could trick the mind. I mean, the mind is so easily, the more you stick to these positive uh, thoughts or words,
Hmm.
uh, it gets easier. I mean, our mind is a muscle, right? So, I mean,
Yeah,
if you keep
You work it
saying
out.
negative things, then you're muscling your mind to keep going to that.
Yeah. And so it will hold your muscle memory, right? So anything that happens, your muscle memory is going to bring out negative talk, negative language. So you got to work out the that muscle. So the muscle memory will always be supporting your positive intentions.
Yeah, Nadia says, yes, the thoughts we have are just as important as what we verbalize.
Mm-hmm.
For
Yeah.
real. So it's definitely like, again, choose what you want to manifest, get rid of those, what stands in the way. So that way
Yeah.
you're not creating manifestation blocks.
Yeah.
And you talk about like visualization that keeps coming up as well when I was reading about manifestation, is to
Yeah.
visualize what you want to manifest.
It's that ability to imagine, that ability to dream, that ability to daydream. Get into a meditative spot, close your eyes, and think about yourself as a millionaire. Think about that apartment that you want. Put furniture into it. Think about the intersections around it, the parks around it. You really got to transport yourself into that state. And
Yeah.
the more and the clearer you're able to map out that life, is the more that life will present itself to you.
It's so true. And it's not just like you said, just not just thinking about it, but writing it. Journaling is a great way to actually visualize, because we think visual is just like vision seeing, but
Yeah.
writing it down. But here's another great thing, is that actually going into those spaces of what you want to manifest. Like when
Yeah.
you said something like feeling like a millionaire, go to an expensive store and, you know,
Woo!
right?
Yes.
Go to that expensive store, like you own it, like you have already, like you have access, you have the money to
Yeah.
access those things. Go to that place where, I mean, don't be creepy, but to a point of like remembering the smell of
Yeah.
like what's expensive, like the thing, like a furniture you really like, you think like, oh, it's not tangible, I'm not going to be able to get it, but to be around it and actually seeing it,
Yeah.
you're in that
Yeah.
space where it creates the smell, and what does that smell like, what does that look
Yeah.
like,
And
it's
and
it's
and
huge.
also, yeah, and also surround yourself with people who also want to be millionaires.
Woo, girl, because they'll
You
introduce
know?
you to what it's like.
Exactly. And also start planning for that money. Research advisors that can help you with that money. Learn the stock market. You know what I mean? Find out which banks will have the best, interest rates, all these things. So I like to think of manifesting as a house, right? It's a house. And you can see either or. And you start to gather all the furniture for the house.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So my $1 million by the time I'm 40, which is in years, I'm not gonna say, right?
Yeah.
But that $1 million is the house. And so I'm starting to prepare furniture in the house. So the couch is my financial advisor. The kitchenware is the stock markets that I'm learning and I'm watching. My friends, all these things, and I am building the house. I'm gathering all the things I'm going to need, all the skills, all the language, all of the side, like the you know,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, like you're saying basically, in a way, it's all part of the taking the action. That's what you're saying.
Right. Yes. I'm gathering everything I'm going to need to facilitate that $1 million. I'm
Yeah.
learning the knowledge. I'm learning the skills. I'm learning everything I'm going to need. So when I get the $1 million, I'm not surprised by it.
Yeah.
I'll already know how to handle it because I've been preparing my mind. I've been preparing my body, right? So I'm going to be in tip top shape because I want to enjoy that $1 million. I want to travel with that $1 million. I want to sail and go on cruise ships and all that stuff. I can't enjoy $1 million if I'm always sick in bed all the time because I'm not taking care of my body.
Right.
Because it's breaking down.
Yeah.
You know? And so we have to cushion our manifestation. We want this. We want it so bad. But what are you doing to get it? And what are you doing to keep it?
Yeah. Which is part of the step 4, like take action to manifest what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's funny you said that. As you're talking, it made me think, as you're taking action to manifest, be prepared for the exercise that manifestation will bring you.
Exactly.
Yeah, because the exercise is it's going to test your ego. Ooh,
Yeah.
so much.
Right? And we know that money will change you. You know, if you're not careful, money will have you acting a fool out here. So yeah, anything you want to manifest, there is a shadow.
Mm-hmm.
There is a shadow, and you need to address, and that's why it's so important to have your soul in alignment and centered, right? So it's like, what are my thoughts on this? How do I feel about it? What are my emotions attached to it? Am I trying to manifest this out of spite?
Yeah.
Am I trying to manifest it because I want people to see the things that I have, the stages that I'm on? Am I
Carlina
trying to
is
manifest it? Am
the
I trying to
classic.
manifest it because I have grown up with a poverty lack mindset? So I think that money will solve all my problems, because it won't, you know? So it's really figuring out, what do I want? And why do I want it? What is the intention behind my manifestation? Because if it's bad, it will not bring blessing into your life. It will only bring a curse.
True. Very true. So be very
So
laser focused with what you're manifesting.
exactly. So you'll have $1 million, but you won't be happy. You
Mm-hmm.
won't have any friends to spend it with.
Yep.
You won't be able to enjoy it to the fullest
Yeah.
because your intention is not right. It's ugly. Your intention is ugly and it stinks.
Yeah. Carlina says the intent behind manifestation. Wow. Never heard anyone speak to this.
Yes. There you go.
Yes. It's very true, because sometimes people, you see it sometimes with public figures who have, I'm going to use this example. I don't know if you guys have seen this. I don't know if you've seen this, but I just recently saw the Paris Hilton documentary, and it speaks on that and on some aspect of, you know, her not being so young. She felt like, due to what has happened to her, she manifested that she wants to be like a millionaire, or she wants to kind of be very well off in comparison to her family, so she could be free. But because she did it so young and not with a laser focus, it attracted pretty much everything we know, all that negative stuff that we have all witnessed in her life. And so you saying that is an example of, sometimes if you don't have the intent behind what you manifest, you can get what you want, but it's not going to be pretty.
It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty. Something I've learned is the universe is not biased. You know, like, it doesn't have favorites. It really it works on the frequency that you put out there.
Yeah.
It works on the frequency that you put out there. It works on your intention. It works on the energy you put out there. So if you're putting out stank energy, and sometimes we do that unconsciously, right? Because we don't know better. Sometimes we simply don't know better. And so we call these things into existence, and we call these things into manifestation, and we get it. But we forget that there's always going to be a light side, and there's always going to be a shadow side. And if we don't mind our doors, and if we don't mind our windows, if we don't mind our rooms, we call in more than we're actually prepared for. Because we haven't put any tangible work behind that manifestation. So all you see is a la la la, but you don't see the dark nights that may come with that. You're not prepared for it.
That's right. That's right. Dawn says, my vision board helps me to visualize.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, it makes me think, I guess, in the last part, we talk a lot about manifestation and how, what to think about when you're doing it, how to, putting yourself in it. But what happens once you do get it? And it's about, one steps is like recognizing and appreciating
Yeah.
what you manifest.
Yes. I am a firm believer in giving thanks. And I say it so often. I'll be talking to someone, I'll just say, we give thanks. We give thanks. We give thanks. We give thanks. Give thanks in everything. Give thanks for everything. um Give honor, give respect, to your higher power, to your source, to your ancestors, whatever you are pulled to. Give thanks and appreciate it. And it's very important to practice being present and being aware, because sometimes our manifestation may come in packages we're not prepared for. We're looking for the big box with the ribbon and the bow and the glitter. We're looking for all that stuff, and it may just come in a tiny little paper bag.
Yeah.
And because we're not present and aware to recognize, this is what I want. It might not look like what I want, but it's what I want. We just dash away the bag.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
throw it away. We throw it in the garbage. Or if we're good, we'll recycle it, because we're not aware. We don't our eyes are not open to it. So it's important in manifesting to have your eyes peeled, to be like, God, how are you gonna show up today?
Mm-hmm.
Right? What do you have in store? Spirit, what
Mm-hmm.
do you have in store today? A person may come by and have a message for you, and may try to speak to you to tell you how to get that thing, but you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, your headphones are in your ears and you're minding your business. You don't know. You don't know. So recognize it. Be present, recognize it, and then give thanks.
Mm-hmm. That is
Appreciate
something
it.
I still continue, like, as I grow older, to do that more. I don't remember doing that much in my youth, and I tell my kids to, take those moments to be thankful. And with kids you could tell them, but if you practice that with them,
Yeah.
be an example of appreciating not just those moments where great things is happening,
Mm.
but it's appreciating and really recognizing and be in the presence of the realization of how wonderful this is, taking a step back.
Yeah. Yeah. And I also want to share as well, because we talked about the shadow side, and
Yeah.
the calling, and also the releasing. Also give thanks for the releasing.
Yes. Yeah.
You know,
But
give
Carlene, I'm
thanks.
going to bring back her.
Give thanks for the things, the situations, and the people that have left your life.
Oh,
Give thanks for the space that has been created for the newness. Give thanks for the joy and give thanks for the sorrow.
and the
Give
lesson.
thanks in everything and give thanks for everything. Because if you believe that you are in alignment, and if you believe that you are in purpose, you also should and need to practice believing that all things are working for you.
Yeah.
The good is working for you, and so is the bad. The joy is working for you, and so is the sorrow. The
Mm-hmm.
happiness is working for you, and so is the pain. So we give thanks for everything, because everything is bringing us closer to meeting the we that we are tomorrow. And
Yes.
that's our goal, is to meet ourselves every day, to meet the highest version of ourselves every day. So everything that comes into our life is to prepare us for tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So we give thanks.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Nadia says the focus is important. In the past, I unfortunately I ask without being specific, and every time it was a disaster. I know better now and ask for better.
Mm.
She also says,
Isn't it?
yes, she also says, I give thanks for everything. Everything.
Yeah, it is such a blessing to know better. You know,
Yeah.
it's such a blessing to have the awareness to know better. But now that we know better, we have to do better because our soul is most out of alignment when what we know and how we behave do not sync,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
That's when our soul is most out of alignment. What we know and how we act
It's
are
when
not in
it
sync.
ignores each other.
Exactly. And so
Like
that's
working
also
together as a team. It's not like, yeah,
exactly. And that's also where that soul exhaustion comes from. Because your soul is like, well, you're thinking one thing, but you're doing another thing. What should I do? And so it's that ping pong. It's that ping pong back and forth.
yeah, yeah. Like just like when we were in the first episode you and I did, and things weren't working out, and I was like, I could have like gone into a deep end about it, but I was like, you
Yeah,
know what? No, this is meant to happen. There's a lesson here,
exactly.
you know,
Exactly.
because I was trying to push something that was so out of my alignment. I was like
Mm-hmm.
trying to present something in a way that I thought would please most people instead of what instinctually was me. And the universe was like, "Oh no, girl, you ain't tricking me.
What we not gonna do is this.
I know you more than you know yourself. You know what? You're trying to trick me, and it's not going to happen." So
Yeah.
it's those moments of recognizing and really listening and paying attention. Both, and I like
Mhm.
what you said. It's like as much as we think about the positive, but think about those shadowy moments, those dark moments, because there's such great lessons there. You know,
And they're so necessary.
they are.
We
You can't manifest something if it's not always going to be gravy.
exactly. Exactly. We are taught to run from the shadow. Love and light, you know? We're taught to run from the darkness, taught to run from the shadow. But a lot of things in nature grow in the dark.
Beautiful things
So
too.
why should we be any different?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, why should we be any different? We need the dark. We need the shadow to rest, to mourn, to find joy, to meditate. Like we need that. We can't be all love and light sometimes. This work is hard. You're gonna need to dig in the dirt and unearth those dead things that are stinking up the back of your closet. You know,
Yeah.
there's skeletons that every time you open that room door, a skeleton's arm is gonna pop out. You need to take the skeleton out and give it tea and be like, what do you want? What do you need from me?
Yeah. Yeah. Someone said trees and flowers roots are developed in the ground.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in the
And
dark,
sometimes
in the
I like
dirt.
how that person, it made me realize, saying trees and flowers roots are
Yeah.
developed in the ground. Those dark moments, it's creating the roots for
Yeah.
those positive manifestation for you to enjoy, to
Hmm.
flourish in. But you can't
Exactly.
flourish if you ain't got no roots.
Exactly. You need the roots. You
Yeah.
need strong, earthy roots, and you won't get that if the sun is shining all the time. You need the dirt and the
Yeah.
worms and the decay. You need that.
Yeah. Yeah. Woo! This was great. Thank
Woo!
you. I'm gonna replay this for myself. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. One user said, this conversation is so important. Thank you, Shirley and LaMoi.
Yeah.
Thank you. This is what Decompress is all about. It's really a moment as creatives for us to have conversation like this. Woosah, breathe it out for the month.
Mm.
and come back every end of the month where we decompress. LaMoi, what do you have? Anything coming up? Anything that people where not only where people can find you, but do you have anything that's happening that we need to know about?
Yes, Saturday I'm going to be doing some soul poetry over at TPS, Toronto Poetry Slam. It is free. The door entrance is free for Black and Indigenous folks. It's online. It's on Zoom, so they can hit up TPS and
Cool.
watch me do some poetry that will dig into your soul.
Nice.
Yeah.
Th- Thank you so much again, LaMoi.
Thank you for
Tune in, like
having
I
me.
said, every end of the month. The next one will be October 30th, 2 p.m. The show gets posted live on Facebook page, the group, and YouTube. And if you found this conversation super helpful, comment during the replay while you're watching the
Mhm.
replay, tweet about it using the hashtag BCANCC, or share the video if you're like, you have a family or friend, or just even share it with yourself. You need to have this conversation with yourself about manifestation. Definitely would love to know, what you think by using the hashtag BCANCC. Nadia says, thank you. This has been amazing. You are speaking to my heart. Yes,
Woo! We get thanks. Yes, thank you.
yes, you have definitely spoken to mine and all of us. Thank you, as usual. Amazing. You're amazing, Queen LaMoi. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.